up to the eyes where we come from. We got this house, we don't get like. It's time to get on down. It's the noise, baby. Oh, it's the noise, baby. Oh, it's the noise, baby. Oh, it's the noise, baby.
If the first thing you do when you get mad is jump on social media and tell a bunch of strangers your business, you are your own problem.
This is not too big to go this way. Okay, well, looks like we're good. So bear with me. I'll just I'll play. So this should just play straight. It'll be again the same piece. But I want everybody just to look at what they're really trying to address when we hear these morons that are elected officials, and they're clearly morons because they don't know the truth about reparations, and what they keep trying to gaslight Americans into thinking and believing is that reparations has to do with white people paying reparations. White people is not the United States government. See, my thing is that hypocrisy in that statement is never addressed. If you say that this is a melting pot and there's no such thing as a racism, and all of these things are not an elements of reality, you're actually literally proving the point by the actions that you're taking. You're not thoroughly investigating anything you're saying. Everything black is DEI, or everything black is rewritten. And the truth of American chattel slavery, which there's an amendment called the 14th Amendment, it's attached to this Constitution, that addresses the harm done to these people. I don't understand how you could get rid of the history that's tied to the Constitution. That doesn't make sense. The Civil War, what are you going to do? Rewrite that one? See, so to purposely go out there and misrepresent our culture. Remember a little while ago when people were talking about, why are we worrying about protecting rap and the origins of hip hop? Because you give in one place, you'll lay down in another. Now, what are we saying? All of those people who was worrying about, why are we going to worry about defending hip hop? Are they the first ones vocal about what Trump is doing now? Because right now, all I see is those people who supported the Democrats and they hate Trump. All they can do is turn back to, hey, FBA, what are you guys going to do? Foundational Black Americans are a voter base, not politicians. That's where you have been confused all of this time. So the party that you want support, see, this is the case. This black base, which to that museum represents, it's up to those Democrats that you keep crying about who lost to start getting up and doing something on Black America's behalf. Not saying, oh, they're doing something by proxy and this group this act will help my way because, you're going to benefit too. No. That museum ain't the Black and Brown Museum. That museum is only dealing with one group in America. So while you were trying to mesh all of our history back into anything and everything else, what now? See, they've been so interested in diluting our culture, no one was left to defend it in the first place but us. So if it wasn't for the grassroots, who would give a crap in the first place? So again, let the grassroots take lead on this and show you just exactly what is worth preserving. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's just one video, and going into another. Like I'm saying, there's a lot here. This is American history. There's nothing to be to look forward to. What are we separating here? I mean, it really doesn't make any sense. Let's find some separate. Now, this is being divisive. So to say that you want to erase parts of American history because they're true, that's the biggest divisiveness. Not talking about illegal aliens. No, this is American history. We could literally just focus and key in on American history, right? 1400. 1400. See, we have a history here. There's the cuisine. Look at that. There's the food. Wow. That's culture. We have no culture. No, this is Black America right here in front of your face, folks. While people say we have no culture, this is a whole museum about us. This isn't spreading all over the world to everybody else. Now, see, what they also don't want there is George Floyd. George Floyd is probably one of the biggest thorns in a supremacy side. When George Floyd was deleted by Derek Chauvin. And here's the one thing about that. Remember who was in office when that all went down. Maybe when we're talking about revising history, especially when it comes to Trump in this matter, he's doing a little bit of rewriting of his own legacy. Because I seem to remember him calling the actions of Derek Chauvin disgusting. So I don't know why now, you'd want to get all the murals and all of this taken down from a person that you obviously admitted was deleted by law enforcement. All of this black content over here. Over here disturbing the natural order of things. Have y'all heard that before? Man, these people trying to talk about we were trying to rewrite history. Are you out your mind? Okay. Let me set this up the correct way. All right. Well, now we're ready. Y'all ready? That's like I said. The link to this madness is in the description of this video. So it reads: Executive Orders, March 27th, 2025. By the authority vested in me as President of the United States, or President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Section 1, Purpose and Policy. Now get this. Over the past decade, Americans have witnessed a concerted and widespread effort to rewrite our nation's history, replacing objective facts with a distorted narrative driven by ideology rather than truth. Now, this is why I have these black codes of 1865 on the screen. So we understand what significance 1865 actually plays here. That means this was the immediate action after the emancipation of the slaves. So, when we're talking about the rewriting of history, well, we first have to address why the black codes were put there. So let's just start there with the truth of the history, that the black codes were put in place because you just freed your child of slavery, that your slaves that you have had in bondage for over 200 years by this time, and perhaps that's part of your history. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think that's a viable part of their history or not? I mean, if you ask me, I would say, chances are yes. Right? Anyway, let's continue. Lord. Some of these players, I'm just gonna have to laugh through this. But anyway, this revisionist movement seeks to undermine the remarkable achievements of the United States by casting its founding principles and historical milestones in a negative light. Under this historical revision, our nation's unparalleled legacy of advancing liberty. Whoa, 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 whoa. Once again, folks, wait a minute. See, here we have to come right back with truth. You can't have 200 plus years of chattel slavery talking about your advancing liberty. No, see, the reason why you have the statue of, again, we're talking about erasing history. I hope this thing out there. The one that people lie and tell everybody, oh, it's about immigrants. Oh, it's not. No. See, that's the rewriting of history. What about the Statue of Liberty? Let's start there. I think that's a novel idea. Spend the money to get the Statue of Liberty removed from the United States because it casts a dark shadow on American history and people revisionists and all. You don't want to pay reparations? What the hell is that statue about? It damn sure isn't about immigration. So just listen to the madness and idiocracy people talk about. These things now should easily be debunked with Black scholarship. Why are they not coming? Because when you're hearing people talk crazy about reparations, Jasmine Crockett's in the room. All of these Black politicians, they're all in the room, but they ain't got nothing to say. They can give you some cuss words, but they're not defending this. I seen a video early today from Keith Boykin. Unfortunately, you're not the NAACP. Unfortunately, you're not the Urban League. And you're not the Congressional Black Caucus, who is focused on every other accomplishment that ain't got nothing to do with us. Meanwhile, this does. And this actually has everything to do with history. Now, they'll get out there and cry and complain and say, we're trying to rewrite history. Well, what are you doing about this? Because what I'm saying right now, I can debunk what he's saying. Just with the proof of that, it dispels that. This is not a debate. These things should be, for this, any judge in his right mind should be tossing this out. But there should be more vocal outrage from especially those Divine Nine. Hey, all of you Divine Niners, they got a whole section dedicated to you there. None for, this modern black grassroots. No, you're not going to see us there. Although we're the ones pushing the line. But everybody that's attached to you guys repeat your support for and boosting of yourselves, of all of these other folks that will sit back and not say anything and not do anything. So again, let the grassroots be the first to come on in and say, we are pushing back on this with the truth. But I'm not up here to name call nobody. We just finna just speak the truth and let the truth do the butt whooping that it needs to do. That's how you work and operate in these spaces. Anyway, continuing on. Individual. Okay, yeah. So legacy, and that's what's crazy. Listen to this. The revision, the historical revision, our nation's unparalleled legacy of advancing liberty and individual rights and human happiness is reconstructed as inherently racist, sexist, oppressive, or otherwise irredeemably flawed. Well, when we talk about reconstructed as, that is quite an odd word to put in this context. Also, when you talk about sexual oppression and whatnot, well, if you're doing DNA tests and all of these people have bought into this DNA, I mean, because granted, yes, you can, but if you have to have a source. But in America, of course, you do. So you know that there's a lot of Caucasian DNA in a lot of Black folk, as well as Now, I'm not saying everybody, because no, there's not everybody is from that situation, but is there a large chunk of that? Of course, that would have to be. Um, but again, that speaks to being inherently racist, sexist, and oppressive. So it's not a revisit or reconstructing. It's just true. That's what that is. See, this is where we start getting into you're lying, calling the truth a lie, but you're not actually providing how this isn't true. And so this is a one-sided argument and conversation. I would like to see this argument debated, but it doesn't really make sense as a presidential directive, because this is actually pretty stupid when you think about it compared to actual history. There's too much history. What are you going to do? Start burning books? Like, now, then they're talking about fascism. Yeah, and at this point, how far does the Constitution let him bend that rod? So, and realistically, not far. But again, like I say, for all of the talk that we heard, that Democrats, why aren't Democrats fighting right now? We should be hearing stomping, upset. Where's William Barber? You know what I'm saying? Though, where are those guys? Like, why are they so quiet? Anyway, a little more here. Because this is just an introduction. It's not really getting to anything. Rather than fostering unity and a deeper understanding of our shared past, the widespread effort to rewrite history deepens societal divides and fosters a sense of national shame, disregarding the progress America has made and the ideals that it continues to inspire millions around the globe. Yeah, okay. The prior administration advanced this corrosive ideology at Independence National Historical Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where our nation declared that all men were created equal. The prior administration sponsored training by an organization that advocates dismantling Western foundations and interrogating institutional racism, and pressured National Historical Park rangers that their racial identity should dictate how they convey history to visiting Americans, because America is purportedly racist. Now, let me tell you something right there. That's an outright lie. That is an outright lie. And when, again, see, you don't have to name call on this one. That ain't even necessary. You don't even have to bother name calling. You just have the truth. So maybe in a few days we will see that these so-called black leaders have found a voice to actually argue on black people's behalf. I will doubt it. I strongly doubt it, but whatever. Once widely respected as a symbol of American excellence and a global icon of cultural achievement, The Smithsonian Institution has, in recent years, come under the influence of a divisive, race-centered ideology. This is where you run off the rails. This is where you run off the rails. And I would, I would want to know, where are the, you guys don't need reparations people? I see. You better know it. You better know it. Let me tell you something, y'all. Listen. This, somebody please tell me how you get around this, man. You have the black codes. Let's just take for a minute and read what's on the screen. The black codes were instituted by Southern legislative bodies in 1865 and 1866 in response to the emancipation of the 4 million former slaves in the Southern states during and after the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865. The black codes recognized the new status of African, well, of course, there were no African Americans at the time, so that was not a term. So of these, I guess they'd be freedmen, the freedmen Americans as freed people, and offered them some of the basic rights of citizenship. However, the codes also defined the freed people as legally subordinate to whites, and attempted to manage their labor in a way that would cause minimal disruption to the labor system instituted under slavery. What will we be missing about American history? And the Smithsonian, it's a something that's new to talk about Bull Connor. And now I want y'all to understand why you don't see, and you most definitely didn't see, Joe Biden showing up any kind of defense for Black America. Because at the reality of it, Joe Biden feels the exact same way as what I'm reading now, and so do many white Democrats, non-Black Democrats, Black Caribbean and other country Democrats. They actually agree. You know how they agree? Because this is nothing that bothers them. Now, they might get out there and have Jasmine Crockett shake her hair and throw a few loose cuss words out there about Trump and Elon Musk and 34 felonies and what about. There's not going to be, we're actually coming here.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's it.
Give it up for Charlie Marshall, y'all. I'm gonna tell you one more time if you didn't know it. It's time to get doo-doo-dum. Dookie, that's where we come from. We got the sounds, we know, get like, it's time to get